Hey, this is Martha Franklin making a video for week 5 homework. We do today a stinky cheese and wine pairing. I chose two local Vermont cheeses and two California wines. My two cheeses, one is a brie cheese from Blythedale Farms, which is in Corinth, Vermont, about 40 minutes from Montpelier. And my second cheese is a goat cheese from Vermont Creamery, one of my favorites, both of my favorite types of local cheese makers. Vermont Creamery is in Websterville, Vermont, so it's only about 10 minutes from here, so pretty close. And my two wines, both from California. One is a Francis Coppola wine. It's kind of a basic white wine Chardonnay. This one, someone from class recommended me to try, so I thought I'd try it today. And it was interesting. Not exactly the style of wine for the flavor that I prefer for Chardonnay, but it's okay. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And then my red wine, which I really liked, was the Cannonball Sauvignon Blanc. Cabernet Sauvignon. This is a 2012. I like that. I have had that wine before. I know someone that works at the winery, and it was pretty tasty. And this one came about recently, so I tried it and I like it. And I thought it would be fun for this pairing. So for the two pairings, I started off tasting the cheeses, the brie and the goat cheese, both fabulous on their own. The goat cheese was a little dry, maybe a little gamey. Some people say earthy. Even though it was dry, it was still pretty creamy, and I just like that flavor of goat cheese. I grew up on goat cheese, and it's very similar to cheddar or any other type of cheese. I could eat it all the time, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not very strong smelling goat cheese. I've had their goat cheese before that's really pungent. This one maybe is about a month or two old. The other cheeses that I've had that were within a couple days are really strong. So that's kind of nice that it wasn't so aromatic to overpower the smell or the sensations of the wines that we were trying. For the brie, it's a sweet, sort of nutty flavor, creamy in texture, very buttery. I like that sort of barnyard taste that goes along with the goat cheese as well. I thought I had a slight smell of ammonia, and I think that's the brie as it's aging. It does give off that smell. And it didn't smell as strong as it could, I guess, for the offsetting again of the wine. So both of the smells of the cheeses didn't deter any tasting of the wine, I thought. But I know that could change with more stinky cheese. I'm not a big blue cheese fan, so I choose not to eat blue cheese. And although I've had Stilton and I've had Gorgonzola and Gorgonzola from our local Jasper Hills, one of the best in the world of blue cheese, I can't get over it. Everyone else in my family loves it. It's a rotten smell to me. So, no, I chose these two cheeses instead. So for the exercise, the goat cheese did pretty well with the Chardonnay. I thought it was going to be too strong. The Chardonnay is a little fruity, not too acidic, but it worked really well. The texture of the cheese actually ended up being less dry with the Chardonnay, and it cut sort of the gaminess of the cheese, and it made the Chardonnay a little bit sweeter, and I didn't think that was going to happen. It has a little bit of a goat cheese texture and taste classically, but drinking this Chardonnay with it didn't. I was really surprised by that. Very tasty. So I would pair those two in the future. Definitely the Chardonnay and the goat cheese. As far as the Chardonnay and the Cabernet Sauvignon, the goat cheese and the Cabernet Sauvignon, I again was surprised by that pairing. Thought that the Cabernet was going to overpower the goat cheese. The Cabernet has a lot of berry, sort of tobacco and black cherry, very big sort of fruit bomb flavor. Really like it, and thought that it was going to overpower the goat cheese, and it didn't. It actually enhanced the flavor of the wine, and it made it less fruit bomb and more fuller in texture. Really tasty. The chocolate essence that's labeled on the back of the wine came out, I thought, with this cheese. Very tasty. It made it more well-rounded flavor of wine, and I like that. The Brie, not so well. It's very surprising. The Chardonnay didn't mix well with the Brie. I thought it was more of ammonia flavor. Definitely stayed creamy and smooth in texture, but the flavors were off. The wine ended up being too acidic, and the cheese was fine, but it didn't go well. So the stinkier of the cheese with the Chardonnay was not a good pairing. The same thing with the Cabernet Sauvignon. Interestingly enough, that the big fruit flavor and big component tasting of fruit and tobacco and chocolate with the Cabernet Sauvignon with the Brie, with the goat cheese didn't work with the Brie. The Brie made it more or less fruit flavor, less wine flavor. It was definitely lost its legs in that transaction, which I didn't think would happen. Not as fruitful, not as flavorful, not as the texture was a little bit off. The cheese itself was fine in flavor, but it didn't do well with this cheese. This wine, the Cabernet Sauvignon, definitely paired better with the goat cheese. So the Chardonnay on its own had some tropical notes and some fruit and some pear. I didn't pick those up with the Brie at all. I did pick it up with the goat cheese, which I thought was interesting. And the Cabernet Sauvignon became more of a interesting flavor wine, more heavy in body and taste and texture with the goat cheese, but not the Brie. Interestingly enough, both of the cheeses have similar ABV of 13.5 or so. I didn't really taste too much of the alcohol in the Cabernet Sauvignon, but when I was eating the Brie cheese with the Chardonnay, the alcohol came out. It was very kind of more acidic, more peppery, not appealing. So interesting thoughts and comments on the wine pairing. I would definitely do the goat cheese and the Cabernet Sauvignon again. Not so much on the Brie. The Brie I might just eat on my own and enjoy that. But all in all, educational exercise and interesting taste and flavor components. Thank you.